Okay, let's get right into it. The date is March 20th, 2026, and right now, the global economy is taking an absolute body blow. In this explainer, we're going to break down how a crisis in one tiny little strait is sparking a collapse that's way, way deeper than what anyone is talking about on the news.
So first up, let's look at the headline that is screaming at everybody from every screen. The Strait of Hormuz, the planet's single most critical choke point for oil, is, for all intents and purposes, closed. The world's energy artery, well, it's just stopped beating.
And this is the immediate result. $117. That's the price for a single barrel of Brent crude oil. A number like that doesn't just hurt, it sends a shockwave through literally every single part of our economy. Now, to put this into perspective, the International Energy Agency has already made the call. This isn't just another crisis. It is, officially, the largest oil supply disruption in human history. We are completely, and I mean completely, in uncharted waters here. Just to understand the sheer scale of this, think about it. 8 million barrels of oil have just been erased from the global market every single day. That's a mind-boggling 8% of the entire world's demand. Gone. Just like that. But here's the thing. The price of oil? That's just the loud, obvious part of the story. The real story, the one we need to wrap our heads around, is the invisible collapse that's happening just beneath the surface. Trust me, this is about so much more than what you're paying at the pump. And that brings us to the real heart of the issue. The real heart of the issue. The big question behind this whole crisis. We hear all the time about military hardware, right? But what about the invisible industrial foundations? The stuff that lets us build all that hardware in the first place. So what we're talking about here are upstream inputs. Forget the finished drone or the jet engine for a second. We're going way, way back to the very beginning. We're talking about the raw, fundamental ingredients, the minerals, the chemicals, that are the absolute bedrock of all modern tech. And here it is, the first major warning flare from deep inside that supply chain. The price of sulfur, something most of us never think about, has spiked 165%. And the reason why is the key to this whole mess. It's a perfect domino effect, really. First, the Hormuz blockade traps huge shipments of sulfur. Okay, so what? Well, without that sulfur, you can't chemically pull copper and cobalt out of the earth. And without copper and cobalt, you can't make drone batteries, you can't make jet engines, you can't make advanced munitions. The factory lines are literally being starved.
Now, all of this is spiraling into something that intelligence analysts are calling a pre-logistical crisis. And yeah, it's a new term, but you're going to be hearing it a lot more.
This quote from a tactical intel operator just hits the nail on the head. We all take the background noise of our supply chains for granted, right? That noise is the sound of our world working. Well, right now, that noise is stopping. And this isn't a problem of moving things anymore. It's a crisis of not being able to build them at all. So the defense world is staring at this impossible equation. On one side, you have all this advanced military hardware being used up at an astonishing rate. And on the other side, the raw minerals you absolutely need to replace it are physically stuck behind a blockade. It's simple, really. You can't replace what you can't build.
So the natural question, the one you're probably asking right now is, can't we just go around, find another way out? It's a good question, but the hard truth is that the system's escape hatches are failing.
I mean, just look at the raw numbers. The math does not work. The pipelines built to bypass the strait, they can handle about 8.5 million barrels a day, max. But Hormuz normally sees 21 million barrels a day. It's not even in the same ballpark. It's like trying to drain a lake with a garden hose.
But honestly, there's an even bigger problem, and it's a financial one. It's called war risk removed. The world's biggest insurance markets, like Lloyd's of London, have just said, nope, we're out. They've declared the area a conflict zone and pulled all their coverage. Now think about it. Would you sail a billion-dollar tanker through a minefield without insurance? Of course not. It's economically suicidal to even think about it. So, how does all this giant geopolitical chess-playing and invisible industrial collapse actually hit us? You and me? Well, this is where the crisis comes home.
It starts right here, $4 a gallon gas. And look, that's not just an inconvenience, it's an economic trigger. For millions of families, for countless small businesses, this is the tipping point. This is where the budget just breaks.
And that trigger leads to this stark economic reality called demand destruction. It sounds complicated, but it's not. This isn't people choosing to tighten their belts. This is when prices get so high that families are forced to stop spending on anything that isn't absolutely essential for survival. It's a brutal, involuntary shutdown of the economy.
And that leaves us with one final, sobering thought. We've spent this whole time looking at the hidden systems and supply chains holding our world together, these invisible industrial foundations. So the question we all have to ask ourselves now is this: when those foundations finally crack, what's left standing?